So this one is actually, you are studying about China, about the violation of human rights, and how they treat Uyghur community, and how they work with, actually, Chinese government is taking all these children away from Uyghur community and put them into orphanage without parents' consent. That's totally no-no. And they're abusing and they're harassing actually citizens there too, so you don't have any rights. So we are studying and we are getting a lot of hearings from the people that who had experience. So this is a very special committee that you are studying on China. So I was very lucky to have that. And I was the only freshman that appointed for that committee. So I'm very, very lucky to get on it. Last year, Marco Rubio, senator, was chairperson for that committee. I don't know about this year. We're gonna have first meeting soon, so we're gonna find out. And then human rights we talk about. You know, Vietnamese, especially when they live in Vietnam, they love America. Because I heard that, and I had experience. I went to Vietnam with chamber members, and they just love America, but Vietnamese government, and they are violating human rights. So in Congress, they actually passed 3 times that, try to stop Vietnamese government, violating human rights in Vietnam, but it never passed the U.S. Senate side. So hopefully that this year it's gonna pass it. It's very, very important that human rights has to be preserved in the world. So that's what we are working on it. Another thing is during the pandemic, we really suffered. I don't know how many business, small business owners you are, but in California especially, we closed down for a whole year. Governor closed down, and governor locked down all of the innocent people like us. But guess what? He actually released 18,000 prisoners on the streets. So when prisoners are walking on the streets while we were locked down, that's not really right. We have to open up the schools. We have to help small business owners. So I did the bipartisan bill that with Congresswoman Bordeaux, that she is a Democrat, I'm a Republican. We work together to give tax credit to small businesses up to $15,000 when you fix the restaurants like ventilation system. And then I co-sponsored set aside $120 billion to open up all small businesses. That's what we've been working on it. And all the vaccinations. When you want the vaccination, it's not mandatory, but you want it, and it's gonna be available. So that's what we've been working on. The most important part right now is the AAPI, hate crime. That's been so rising since last year. We are not the one caused the pandemic. We are not the one brought coronavirus. Coronavirus doesn't discriminate any communities. And we are very innocent. And it started from China, but not from us. So this hate crime against the AAPI is almost 4,000 cases last year. Out of that, 44% are from California. Second highest is in New York. What's the common things between New York and California? Both of them shut down all the businesses. So we became a scapegoat. We cannot do that, and we have to retaliate. So I did the bipartisan House Resolution 153. That's the resolution that we condemn all the perpetrators when they commit any crime against AAPI, then they're gonna have consequences and they get punished. So federal law enforcement and local law enforcement, they work together and they're gonna go after these criminals. That's what we're gonna do. But for the Vietnamese American communities and any Asian American communities, we've been always under the radar and we never really speak up. We are the asset of America. We are hardworking. You have a great work ethics, We try to raise our kids right in this country. We cannot tolerate any of these hate crimes against us. So you have to speak up. We have a lot of rallies outside. We have a lot of meetings outside. All the medias are there. You speak up. We're not gonna tolerate any hate crimes against the AAPI. So we really have to work on it. My House resolution is on Judiciary Committee right now. So after they pull that, they go through it, then it's gonna come to the floor, House floor, and we're gonna vote for it. So we really have to work together to stop this. California already stopped it for discrimination against the Asian Americans. Do you remember that 1996 we stopped the race-basis, contracts or school admissions and other stuff. And last year we had Proposition 16. We rejected that because we are not choosing people by the color. We already were discriminated before that, 1996. Now that we really have to fight for it. So you really have to speak up, not just stay under the radar. Most of Asian Americans, we really do. But you know what? For our kids and our grandkids, I think we really have to work hard to make sure that people listen, that we are not going to be tolerating any more hate crimes against the AAPI. So that's what I've been doing. Actually, I did more than that, but you know what? I have to remember, I sent a letter out with Senator Ted Cruz to International Olympic Committee that they have to move from Beijing Olympic to another city because since our athletes been practicing for the last 4 years, trying to have a fair competition and safe environment. So we sent a letter out and we got the letter back from International Olympic Committee that UN supported them, so they're not gonna move. We're gonna do whatever we can, but I'm so grateful to Senator Ted Cruz. But you know what? I have more things I'm gonna send you, so Tri's gonna put on the newspapers what I've been doing. But last 3 months, it was really busy I went through COVID. I already had 2 vaccinations done, so I'm the most safe person that I can give you a hug, everybody, and I'm not gonna spread the disease and I'm not gonna get it. So I am very happy to be here. I've been always so much into Vietnamese American community for the last 20 years. I am so grateful that all of your friends, and I know there's a few walked with me and door knocking during the campaign, so I'm just so grateful to be with you today. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Danielle. That into Vietnamese because we all understand what she said. So if you have any questions or concerns, you're more than welcome to ask. Yep. So this is the time for any member of the community. If you have any questions, concerns, or update, this is the time for you to ask. Please.
Do we need the mic?
You know what? Why don't I just come down and then I can, yeah. You need a microphone?
Yeah.
I can be right here.
Yeah.
Then any question?
If I need a mic so everyone can hear,
Okay, so
do you think?
do we have a mic? I don't know.
They don't have
We don't have a mic.
It's okay. You can stay here and you can go to bigger.
So we'd like to ask you.
Yeah.
Why don't you come up here? Just
You got the mic.
you bring your that way.
We all have vaccinated anyway.
testing งงใครครับผม testing
Yeah. We have questions, so you can come over here, or you can ask. Can we have a mic?
There's another got that.
There's another mic on the stage. Đèn lên đi cho nó sáng, chụp này tối quá.
Cái công việc cái school board á, ngoài cái budget ra còn việc gì khác? Cái chi phí cứu sinh.
Formosa TV, Formosa TV. You've been talking about, you just talked about like
Work làm
Asian hate.
ví dụ như là những cái gì
I've been covering that protest around, and I heard both sides. And one of the thing I heard is the Democrats or the people who promoting that movement, saying former President Trump with his saying like China virus and others will be the one who responsible for the hate crime coming up lately against Asia. Do you agree with that or not, and why? Thank you.
You know, that's hurtful that, you know, you say Chinese virus. But only thing is we have Spanish flu. We always use that, you know, for the location it really happened. But when they are having the hate crimes been rising, it's very hurtful for Asian Americans. So we have to be really careful that how you do that. So I agree and I disagree, because I agree because it happened, it started from China. But I don't agree that it was Trump's fault. So if it was President Trump's fault, why they are going after AAPI? Because Asian American community, that why we have to get the hate crime. So you know what, the other party and the other side, they always blame for something to somebody. And we are not the one caused. So why that hate crime has been rise because of somebody else said something. So we really have to be careful. We are not the one. Asian Americans are not the one brought that disease. Asian Americans are not the one. And this disease is not discriminating any minority communities. So we really have to be careful about it. And especially when you try to set aside the Asian American community, it's so divisive. Why certain community has to get certain benefit and why certain community should not get certain benefit. This is America. We all immigrated here, and I'm the first generation. I was born in Korea and raised in Japan. So English is my third language. I came here, I love America. I achieved the American dream. We all want to live loving this country and love here, to be here and to be successful. That's what I think. So you know what, if somebody tried to blame you because of somebody else said, or somebody, other communities has to be getting certain benefits, I don't really agree, because we have to live together and we have to love this country together, and we have to really work together, not divisive. And the other party's been always divisive, and I really don't like that.
My name is former congressman of People of Vietnam before 19
75. Recently, I am a journalist in Vietnamese newspaper and magazine. Anchor of IBC TV, channel 14, 17 and 18. Excuse me, when I was young, I use French as vehicle language. Therefore, my conversation in English a lot of accent.
You know what? I have an accent too, so don't worry about that. I'm a first generation. I do have an
I have no
accent.
question because I support you.
Thank you.
But I have the honor to raise one preposition.
Mhm.
Very short, simple, but very, very critical to Vietnamese people, American Vietnamese. As you know, 75% of U.S. population against communist China or Red China. In the U.S., there are about 2 million American, Asian American against the communist regime in Red China. Most of them, including us, you and I, we are against the Red China. But there are some people, the bad people, racist or discriminative people, misuse our Vietnamese, our Asian American. We oppose the Red China, but we don't oppose the China people. We don't oppose China people. We oppose the communism. But they make propaganda like we are with the China communist. Therefore, discrimination and resistance. Could you please? I know this is very difficult because in Congress we cannot decide by ourselves. We have to make compromise with all the people. But do your best. Explain and convince all the Congress men to have a legislative measure against the discrimination and the resistance against American, Asian American. Thank you very much. I hope to inform you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know what? Communism, that I think most of you, well, a lot of you are younger generations here, so maybe you don't. But you know what? We went through. My both parents actually fled from North Korea, from communism. So I know how it works. My parents been talking about that, how communism works. But we have to make it very clear that Chinese government versus Chinese Americans. That's the reason that I rescind my endorsement to Sarah Kim from Texas right now, the special election. One of the Korean American is running for Congress. She's the one actually toured one of the debate that she toured, that I hope that all Chinese are not coming into this country. This is the time that Asians have to be together. We're gonna hold hands together, we're gonna work together, we're gonna support each other. We are not going against the Asian Americans, especially Chinese Americans, or Vietnamese Americans or Korean Americans. We have to work together. We are fighting communism, not Asian Americans here in especially certain country that they came from. This is the time that we have to unite. So thank you very much for your advice.
Hi, Bishop.
You
Mr.
cannot give me two hard
Congresswoman.
questions because I know you're too much.
Okay, I'm a YouTuber. I think that people know I'm a YouTuber, and I think we have some concern from our community, Vietnamese American, from the local to the federal. For the local, right now we have the we have the border replacement. Right now, in San Diego, they open the convention center to take care for the, they call the comedy with the parents or whatever. But the truth is, right now, it's increased the crime in our community came from the illegal element. So, what you can do for our community, that's the number one thing for the local. Okay? For the
The illegal aliens coming
Yeah.
into the border, right?
yeah, the border. How we deal with that, and how we deal with the White House in your position, the Congresswoman in the House, so to fight to keep safe for our border, for the border. Number one. Number two, right now, I know in the Congress, in the Senate, or in the House, they have over 100 bill to touch and partner with the China Communist People, the CCP. But we don't have even one bill to apply for VCP, Vietnamese Communist Party. For years long, we don't have any bill. They harass, they violation the human rights, they abuse the human rights, they kill people, they murder people. But we don't have even one bill to apply to impose the sanction with them. So what you can do for that? Okay, number two. Okay.
Okay, I have to memorize all this.
Okay, you can go ahead and the first one, the local for the committee high increase the crime from the illegal immigration.
Okay, the first, we have to secure the border because it's very important. When you start opening up, you really have to look for, when they, especially, these people that who have family members in the United States, they have a court date and they just sent free in this country. You have to vet them. You have to really study them. You have to really check them out because we all are immigrants here. We love this country, aren't we? And we really have to look for people who are going to be great assets like us, not that somebody who comes in and attacking our Americans means that we, including us. So we really have to stop that. And then we have to reform the immigration policy. Because right now, we have over 4 million people trying to come in this country legally, so they are waiting outside of the United States.
Yes.
You know what? They get the first priority to coming in. But before we bring any immigrants in, you really have to check their backgrounds. So make sure that we are not bringing terrorists, we are not bringing criminals, and we are bringing people who love this country. That's the first question. And second one, that you were talking about Vietnamese, Vietnam, regarding
Communist.
Vietnam communism, that you said that there's no bills. Actually, there were 3 passed in Congress until last year, a few years ago. But it never really went through U.S. Senate side vote. So this year, hopefully that it's gonna come back and we're gonna do it. Much more threat is in China than Vietnam these days. That's why there's more bills about China than not. You're going against China than Vietnam. That's the reason. I'm gonna work with it, and then we're gonna try to bring one, especially for violating human rights condition in the Vietnam. So we're gonna work on that. And what's your number 3 question? And that's your last one.
I just follow up because on the, you talk about that, but we haven't seen any sanction import to Vietnam. We have sanction import to China when they violation the human rights in Xinjiang, in Hong Kong. We already impose that even on the Trump administration or right now Biden administration. We impose the sanction with them, but nothing with Vietnamese communists. They own the same with Chinese, but we don't do nothing. Just a resolution, non-binding, you read in that and throw it away, nothing happened.
I'll study those 3 bills and then we're gonna find out.
Okay, so I try to be there. Okay, the third question, okay, about the election. Right now we have to reform the election in Georgia. We just passed a bill in Georgia, and with all the states they're going to be, prepare like Texas and Florida. What about California? Can we do that the same, the ID requirement for the vote?
Thank you. That's exactly what we want, and Georgia just passed it. That's
Yes.
the reason actually they lost the baseball game from Georgia. And President Biden actually supported take that game away from Georgia. That's not really right things to do. Then I think President Biden actually support to remove Beijing Olympics to another cities. That's what I believe. So we really have to do that. But California, before California, we just passed HR, so many numbers.
I know the
But
HR1,
H-
right? No, SF1, right, from the House.
So what they want to do is same-day registration, and you can just vote without your ID. And on the top of it, they want to give taxpayers money for any candidate who raised money. Then the government is going to match him for times 6. Means that you raise $200, government's going to match him for $1,200. You don't even know that you support that candidate or not. You cannot spend taxpayers' money for the campaign. So that's the reason we voted against. It was totally partisan because they tried to bring more votes from on the other side. So that's the reason that they passed it. That's why we need 5 more votes, 5 more seats in Congress to become majority, that we are working on it. What we are doing right now is actually what you hear from the media is not really as bad as what we have to go through. The first day orientation, I was sitting in one of the place. I didn't know it was a Democrat seat. They were giving me like a little weird face, and I didn't know there's a Democrat side and Republican side. It's really, really divisive right now. So you really have to work on
We
it.
need the transparency.
We need transparency, but what we are doing at Republican side, we are building the base right now. So as soon as we become majority party, guess what? We're gonna rewind everything. That's what we're gonna work on it. We really have to work on this election work. Having said that, each state has their own constitution. Federal government cannot rule on each state's their own constitution. There's a couple of states actually they violated that because only legislators can change their constitution, not Secretary of State to change the voting rights. So this is going to be on the right now court. So you know what? Court is going to decide who did the right and wrong. So we are waiting for that right now. Yes. But we really have to clear out. California, we still have a long way to go, but we already had enough signatures together for, without our governor, Newsom. I don't know what's gonna happen because they've been checking. It's interesting because they never check your ID when you vote, but right now that every signatures that they're going through one by one, they try to figure it out, so they wanna make sure that he's not gonna be recalled. So when you have so many Democrats, it's very tough to work with. And that's the reason that we have to mobilize more of like a Vietnamese American community, Asian American community. We have to bring more better candidates. You have a lot of great candidates in Vietnamese American community. Support them and bring them in. And you know what, we need more people than ever.
So finally, you promise that the bill and the import the sanction with the Vietnamese communists.
You know what, I said I'm gonna review it because what was out there, and I really cannot promise you at this point because you have to work with other members too. So it has to be bipartisan.
Bring it to the
because
debate. Just promise me to bring the debate on in the House. Doesn't matter if the pass or not.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that we have another only 10 more minutes.
Mhm.
Because she will have another meeting, so only 1 or 2 questions.
yeah. You know what, actually, Tree owns me today, so all day he said you have 5 minutes, you have 10 minutes. He's been taking me around
If
all
you
day.
ask, make sure that your
Hi,
question will be short and
Michelle.
get
So nice seeing you.
I'm Tony Bui. I don't have question for you because I listen all of your thoughts. You are very eloquent and also very stern, firmly to
First time I
support
heard.
to support the American, make America great again.
Thank you.
I'm proud that you come to us, and this is a gift to you. What is Michael Michelle still stand for? You know, in the Bible, the archangel named Michael, he is the really angel to help the people and help the children of God. And now we have Michelle, that means Michael, a feminine, Michelle. Michael, that is the archangel represent in the feminine. So I'm proud that you're here. And you are proud that we are proud that you're supporting to help the children and also for the people of the United States. And also all lives are matter. Not only one group, not only other group. All lives are matter. And that is what I want to express to you. And also the steel, the name steel, that means the very strong material. You can make the sword from steel to destroy communism, to destroy socialism, and to make things become great for America and make America safe again. So I'm proud that you have your name, Michelle Steele. That is your great name and the meaning of it.
Thank you, Tony. You know what? You never really saw me that I'm fighting on the floor, so that's why you thought I'm an angel from the Bible. That's not really true, but thank you.
Good evening, good afternoon to all. Good afternoon to you, Ms. Michelle Steele, Congresswoman of the U.S. Congress. My name is Andrew, and I'm with Phobos TV. We just learned about a lawsuit yesterday from the state of Texas, and the plaintiff was Sarah Kim. She sued the Texas Tribune about the defamation suit against her, saying that she is a racist. Well, we learned that Sarah Kim is against China Communist Party, and we also learned that you just withdrawn your endorsement to her. Please explain.
Okay, so Sarah Kim, you know, Young Kim and I are Asian Americans, and this is the first Korean American Republican woman got ever elected. I get the first because Young announced that her victory a few days later, so I'm the first one, so we always argue about that. So we try to promote Asian Americans more, and we try to help Asian Americans. In Texas, a late Congressman Ron Wright, that who passed away with his existing disease and COVID, so he passed away. So there are special elections, and there are about 23 candidates out there. 11 are Republicans and 12 are Democrats. Out of 11, there's only one Asian American, especially Korean American. Her name is Sarah Kim. So she asked for the endorsement. And I endorsed her, Young endorsed her. Young endorsed her first, and I endorsed her because we want more Asian Americans to come into Congress. When she had the debate, she said that we don't want any Chinese people to come into this country because they are stealing all intellectual properties and they're stealing everything from us. I can say it because I'm Korean. You never say that during this because when this, especially hate crimes, been rising, that you really cannot say things because we really have to work together. Next day, Young and I called her because we want to make sure that she didn't have that intention. So we talked to her, and she didn't say a word. Young and I said that we've been in politics such a long time. For me, State Board of Equalization, 6 years at Board of Supervisors, now in Congress. I know how it works. A lot of times, that was not your intention, but it comes out from your mouth and wrong way, or maybe media portrays wrong things. But you apologize that it was not my intention, but I'm sorry what happened there. And it was not from me at all. And I was talking about Chinese government. That's all you have to say. Because May 1st is special election. You have only, less than a month to go. then this issue dies down, and then you can move on to another issue. So we asked her that you have anything to say. She didn't say anything, when Young and I talked to her. Next day, she came out, not apologizing, it was not her intention. She just said, I said that going against Chinese government, not Chinese people. But that's not exactly what she said. So we already gave her the endorsement, but at that point, that we have to retrieve it, because right now, the unity is more important for Asian American communities than we are dividing, that Chinese people cannot come. You can ever say that you had the intention or not. So that's the reason we actually retrieved our endorsement. Yes.
Dear Congresswoman Michelle Steele, my name is Tang Yen Chen. I'm here to speak on behalf of the and activists in the Vietnamese community in Orange County during 3 decades ago. I'm being the one who have promoted the Vietnamese community to cast their vote for both Congresswoman Michelle Steele and Yang Kim in our weekly radio and YouTuber show at the last 2020 election. We did promote Vietnamese people to vote for you and all the Republican candidates because we thought that you the one who's standing for the right and good cause. We welcome you to our community today. As you know, Korean and Vietnamese people, you came here and been accepted to be citizens of the great country under the right and fair immigration policy of the generous people of this country. That's why we love the legal immigration. So this is of the former government, but we cannot accept or tolerate the crisis and chaos, a kind of invasion of illegal immigrants caused by the current government. So I'm here to urge you, our representatives, to raise bravely and strongly your voice to defend and save the USA now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
That will be the last question, please. Yes, thank you.
Hi, this is a letter from Mrs. Lung. I would like to read for her, okay? Dear Congresswoman Michelle Steele, I have been and voted for Republicans since 1982. My family and friends vote for you. Congratulations. Our most concern for our country right now is China, open border, and illegal immigration. With your power in Washington, D.C., please do something to save our nation. And America is going downhill at this time. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you. You know what? I do whatever I can. Only thing is I don't have any power because I'm representing you and I represent my constituents. So I listen to my constituents and I just vote the way they want me to vote. And I represent more than 700,000 people in my district. So I'm gonna listen to you and the way you want me to vote, I vote the way you want it.
Yes, I will be the last one. Well, first of all, my name is Ji Chong, and I'm the Vice Mayor for the City of Westminster. And you're here today. Thank you for being here today. And Vietnamese magazine is also in the City of Westminster. So on behalf of the residents of the City of Westminster, we welcome you here today. And at the same time, we want to thank you for your caring for the district. That's why we are here. Especially thank you for your caring for the Vietnamese community. As you mentioned earlier about the virus, the virus originated in China. And so that if no one reasons to, to hate each other or to stop crimes, hate or anything like that. So, because of that, Trita and I will have an event coming up this Saturday from 4 to 7 at the Asian Village on Rosa Avenue. So on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to invite you, a representative from your organization, from your district, to come and say a few words and to meet the people in your district. Again, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Charlie. You know what? I'm leaving on Friday, 6 o'clock in the morning, flight to Florida, and coming back on Sunday. And then Tuesday, I'm going back to DC, and 3 weeks in a row that I'm gonna go Tuesday and coming back on Friday. So every week I'm gonna commute. So I'm not gonna be here on this event, but Tree and my another staff will be there. So I am so sorry that all the rallies I wanna go, but I cannot really go and to every rally. So this weekend I'm gonna be in Florida and I'm gonna meet a lot of other Republicans and then I'm gonna come back. So I am so sorry, Charlie, and I don't know where you're sitting at, but I can't really see because of this light. But thank you for inviting me and inviting me more. So you know what? Whatever next rallies, we really have to speak up. So love to show up when I'm here in the district. So thank you very much, all of you today, and thank you for sending me to Washington D.C. and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that we have a certificate for every dog from Michelle. So where was that? I put right here. See it.
Okay.
You put it. Right here. Oh, right here. Right here. David? Cảm ơn tất cả quý vị nha. Cảm ơn các bạn. Sau đây chúng ta sẽ có một vài
Xin mọi người ở lại để dùng trưa nha, rất là cảm ơn.
I see my bodyguard here. Actually, I am your bodyguard. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
We have a special lunch today.
I know.
Like you have lunch and then.
Tree's the one taking me around today, and you know what?
Want to have some lunch with us?
Thank you nha. Thank you Minh Lân.
Thank you.
Lan
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you Minh Lân. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Ủa bạn không ăn hả?
Michelle, we superstar today.